Sample teams. Most generations have very updated, pretty decent sample teams, but not all. I am extremely dissatisfied with the sample teams from Black and White that are currently available. I don't love the DPP sample teams either, because old generation sample teams tend to get quite outdated, sometimes very quickly. So let's look at the GSE sample teams and see if they're any good. We'll start off with offense, the best style in GSC. Nidoking Gengar. Okay. So Sleep Talk Snorlax with a Tyranitar. That's pretty decent. DQ Pursuit. Not a huge fan of Dynamic Punch Gengar, but that is a decent set. Good Nidoking. This is a good sample team. This is just a good sample team. If you want to run Nidogar stuff, it's pretty decent. Yeah, I'm not loving its matchup into hard stall, but that's fine. That's fine. Nidoking Machamp. Standard stuff is pretty okay. Again, Nido Tyranitar. Just function of the same team, except it needs Nidoking and has some Machamp in the background. I would like this team more if it had counter over Thunder and Nidoking, but this is fine. This is pretty fine. I like it better into hard stall. I like it a lot better into hard stall. If you play your Machamp right and get your crits. Like Paralyze Skarmory, Paralyze Skarmy. Make sure, yeah, it's Toxic on Cloyster. See, it's both are playable. Jinx, I love late game Jinx. I think sub is better in lead Jinx than on late game Jinx, but it is fine here. Golem, Jinx, Scar. What does this team do against Tyranitar? I don't love how many points of entry targets. But I also have a team almost exactly like this in my builder. Could use Steve Jinx. Tar can be really annoying if you're giving it free entry on your Snorlax and the Gengar and the Jinx. And pretty much to Zapdos. But you can whirlwind it around and get some chip. Protect Zapdos is fine here. It's pretty good here, actually. But yeah, I would potentially consider putting EQ on that Lax. Maybe. Depends. But yeah, definitely playable in Tar. Like, you have stuff that threatens it out. I just like to be more comfortable against Tyranitar, where if I don't have a really solid switch into it. I mean, if you're not playing against Surftar, you're fine. Because Golem does it good enough. So yes, this is a pretty decent team. I'm being incredibly critical, just because this is good stuff, so there's not much to say. This is fast offense. Okay, let's look at this. Triple Thief stuff. I do agree with this Zapdos set. I think it is the best set for really fast offense. Like, fast acting stuff. Oop, pardon that. When I say fast offense, I mean faster in turn count. This is definitely going for a faster game. When you're using a lot of Thief and Zapdos, you want you tend to do much better the fewer turns that elapse till the end of the game. This Cloyster set is very no nonsense. Oh, Wi-Fi just crashed. Wow. Hmm. I like this Lax, but I don't love it on this team. Being walled by Gengar kinda sucks, but I think you can get away with it here. Because sure, Gengar is getting entry on every single one of your Pokemon except for Zapdos and Jinx. And, well, like, it can pivot in on everything. But it's taking damage on every corner, and the only thing that really, truly lets it in for free is Lax. So I think you can live with that. I think you can actually get away with this. Wi-Fi is down. Why? 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 Wi-Fi. Um. Hmm. Hmm. Vappy plus explosions. I think this is the best explosion team, like traditional boom offense team that we have access to that has ever been made. Like these six are the best traditional explosion offense because traditional explosion offense gets mowed down by Jinx. But with a Vappy on the end, it's actually a lot better. I actually really like the team a lot. Just ads are being annoying. Incredibly annoying. Okay. I know this team by heart pretty much. Standard Zapdos, 4 attacks, Snorlax, Standard Cloyster, Giga Drain Psychic, Sleep Powder Explosion, Eggy, Standard Steelix, Sleep Talk Vaporeon. The technical difficulties. Alright, so next up is... I don't like the Paralysis Marowak by Earthworm. I really don't like that team. It's got two things I really don't like. Marowak is the electric check, and Starmie. I think Starmie's actually awful on offense, and there's much better ways to spread paralysis. Here's the actual team. I think this is a pretty great lead set for Marowak. I think this Starmie should be an Exeggutor, and then this is fine. Except I do prefer... Yeah, I think this is a fine team if Starmie gets turned into an Exeggutor. And maybe if you want spin so much, you switch Cloyster out for Fortress. Or Tar out for Golem. But yes, I think this team is pretty decent. As soon as you take Starmie off and put Golem, not Golem, and put Eggy there. Starmie's a mess on offense. That should be an entire video of itself. Heracross boom offense. Heracross is kind of weird. It's just like, I think Eggy is a fantastic partner for Heracross because it booms on Zapdos. That's what Eggy's job is. And then this Snorlax is Curse, Body Slam a Skarmory, and then boom it. And then Heracross goes to town. I like Raikou on this team because you intend to explode two or three of your, like, two or all three of the things that switch into electric moves, and Heracross doesn't always do too well into Zapdos. So I do like this. I do not mind Raikou here. So all in all, I like this team. Pretty good. Pretty great, actually. Growth Pass. Haha, I love this style. It is by far my favorite way to play GSC. But I am severely unimpressed with Vappy as a growth passer. I don't love it. I think this is a pretty decent growth pass Vappy set. I think sub growth Vappy is a little greedy. I'm a huge fan of Espeon Growth Pass. I need to try out Umbreon Growth Pass and Jolteon Growth Pass more. The thing is, Umbreon and Jolteon let in the phasers too easily, and Espeon to an extent. That's what Vappy's great at, is not letting in the phasers. This team is really sketchy switching into Zapdos because Rhydon doesn't switch into Zapdos very well. But you do have a Growth Up Jinx option, or just your own Zapdos to win the 1v1 because you're at +1. And then you can Ice Beam it with Vappy. Ice Beam, force it, like Ice Beam it twice on the switch and force it to rest. And then you have your opportunity to try and Growth Pass, because Vaporeon does live with Zapdos Thunder. Maybe even 4, it might be nice just to boom on. So next up is Houndoom Golem. I like this team a lot because it has a Houndoom on it, but I think Flamethrower Houndoom is depressing. Don't use it. It's bad. Just click Crunch if you're gonna click Flamethrower. I love Fire Blast on Houndoom. I like Protect Machamp quite a bit, especially with Pursuit support. All in all, pretty decent team. Really leverages that Houndoom support. If you're going to build a Houndoom team, you want something like this, where you make the most out of your support by running some sets that you really can't run without it. Without support, Pursuit support. And, like, Tyranitar's not very good at pursuing the Psychics. Houndoom is. Houndoom is really good at pursuing the Psychics. So, this Machamp really... Actually, I want to use this team. Other than the Fire Blast on Houndoom, that's the only thing I don't like about it. Agility Pass. Ugh, just like... It sometimes wins and it sometimes doesn't. Play offense. This Rest Marowak team is actually really good. This is a phenomenal team. My only issue is I don't like Body Slam Thunder Lax in the lead slot. Because I think Double Edge Thunder is better, because you Double Edge a Cloyster, switch it, and then you Thunder and kill it. Body Slam into Thunder does not kill Cloyster. So maybe I lead Coup. But I do love this team, because it's very effective. It's proven itself over the test of time. I might put Thunder on Raikou too, though. Just because more para. And this Marowak gives itself longevity. You need this EV spread. This is very important, because otherwise you have the issue of a bug happens when you SCD and things get messy, and you actually end up doing no damage, like 3% per hit. So that's why you have that EV spread, or use Hidden Power Bug. Or you just lower your attack IVs by 2. DVs by 2. This is a very, very solid team. It's just always good. It's never not been good. Sunny Day Spam. This team punishes some archetypes like nothing else. But it just flails into Starmie, Blissey stuff, and you cry and don't do anything. And it's kind of anti-offense, and it's pretty good at that. That's about it. Great if you scouted an opponent, or like pretty decent if the ladder is all offensive right now. But teams with like you just Starmie and Blissey give this team such it just feels unwinnable sometimes. Like, this team often can find itself in a matchup that it thinks is unwinnable. And Fire Blast misses also are a thing. This is pretty much just the Marowak team, except slightly different sets, and it's got a Quagsire. Use Flamethrower on Lax instead of Fire Blast. What else can I say? Pretty great. I don't hate this team. I don't hate this team. I don't like. I don't think you should have Zap Cannon on your Rhydon. That is. I. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't. Oh, I also don't like the Snorlax set. It's also Starmie on offense instead of a Cloyster, but I think that's fine because you're using a Charizard. Well, no, Charizard needs spikes. Charizard really needs spikes. Charizard really appreciates spikes. Kind of. It just pushes it like into certain ranges. I guess you get away with it because it is Charizard. The other belly drummers do need spikes, I think. Well, no, the stab return, or stab EQ ones really appreciate spikes because it turns like 10% chance to kill rolls on stuff like Snorlax. I think Umbreon, I think Vappy's up there, and like Zapdos, like very low percent chance to kill rolls. Two high ones, obviously, that doesn't do it to Zapdos, but there's a couple mons, so you really, at Cloyster, you need spikes for Cloyster, but Charizard, I guess, can get away with it. This Eggie's gonna boom on Zapdos. Para is pretty nice for Charizard. I will say, I just don't like the Zap Cannon Rhydon, and I don't like that there's a Starmie on this team. You have enough Para. I think you have enough Para. Just like Alakazam would be better than Starmie here. I would be okay with Alakazam here. But I don't like Starmie here. You're not even like Charizard's like the one belly drummer that doesn't even care about rapid spin support because it's flying. Don't like Starmie on offense. Stall teams. Double electric stall, I like it. Two flyings. Two flying is good. It prevents Steelix from just exploding your Skarmory. This is a decent Skarmory set. I don't like Rorku. Don't like Rorku on this team. Actually, really don't like Rorku on this team. You can get away with Rorku on this team if you have a Rest Golem, which you don't. I think this should be a Sleep Taku. Then Spin Tentacruel. Don't use Spin Tentacruel. Like, use Fori Starmie. I don't like Spin Tentacruel. This is probably one of the better Spin Tentacruel teams, but I think Spin Tentacruel is just awful. It just sucks. Even, like, I just don't like it. It's so bad. It just doesn't do anything that Starmie couldn't do. Sure, you're immune to Toxic. Starmie just clicks sub and blanks Cloyster is Toxic. Or Fori just spins. You can use Rest Fori. That is something that Fori learns is Rest. It's just, like, I don't like Spin Tentacruel. This is what I'm talking about. This is some do-nothing stall right here. This team does nothing, ever. And then it maybe wins with Curselax. Seriously, that's all it does. This team you can just take to timer. And by timer, I mean 1,000 turns. It's just... good luck finding a way to get spikes up against this mess. Hope you have your... oh, wait, it's not Spins Fori. Then never mind. You just Toxic the Starmie. Standard stuff. You've Toxic the Starmie. Make progress like that. I don't like there's a Rorku on this team. I don't like that at all. I really don't like that. I think you can get away with it barely. I do quite like Umbreon on Do Nothing Stall. I think it's one of the best Do Nothing Stall mons. But I don't like Do Nothing Stall as an archetype. I think that for it should probably be Spin and the Snorlax should be Belly Drum. Maybe. 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 I don't know. Like, I just don't like these archetypes as much without a Belly Drummer. I think if you're running 4, you should have Spin on it. First of all. Double dog stall. This is wonderful at cleaving through the low ladder. This is like the freest 1300 rank of your life. Just learn how to use this team and you'll get up to 1300 in no time, except consider replacing Ice Beam with Toxic on Suicune. And consider replacing Sleep Talk with Whirlwind on Skarmory. What else can I say? Got Double Boom, which I kind of like on stall. Consider also using Thunder Raikou. But no, this is pretty chill. I like the team. Don't love Suicune as a whole. Yeah, BKC loves Booms on stall, which is pretty okay. Biggest issue with the team is you kind of just don't make progress if the team against you don't do enough to make progress. You do make progress with Toxic and all that, but you can just kind of have a hard time against teams with a bunch of Rest or Steelix. But Suicune really helps against the Steelix. But yeah, it's decent. It's pretty decent. Really, really good at getting through the low ladder. Oh boy, here's where we get the Blissey stall. Blissey Zapdos is a pretty great combination. I don't like Psychic Missy. I don't understand it. Use Hidden Power Water or Thunder, your choice. I am a personal fan of Thunder Toxic Rest. I don't like this set. I've been seeing this a lot on ladder recently. It just doesn't feel that good. Like, I'm playing against it, and I'm like, oh, let's go. Like, it's this team again. I just kind of click spikes once and deny your Toxic Cloyster because you're not Rest Cloyster. And I just can sweep with, like, it just doesn't feel like it does enough. I don't like Belly Drum Lax on this team. It just, well, no, I just don't like the Missy. Like, this Missy sucks. Why? Just use Hidden Power Water. Hidden Power Water would be so much scarier. Like, look at Steelix versus this team. Permanent free entry. Permanent free entry. Doesn't care too much for light screens. Cloyster sends it out. Permanent free entry. Mostly free entry. Steelix has a ball and it booms on your Skarmory, and then their Snorlax just wins. I don't like this team. It just doesn't feel like it does enough. It doesn't feel like it can last long enough to get the Belly Drum Lax set up. It doesn't feel like it can play the stall. I don't know about the stall mirror because I don't play stall much. Well, I do. I used to play it a lot, but I haven't played this team with the stall team. But I just don't like the Missy set. I'm also not a fan of Light Screen Blissey. It can really screw it. I cried when I ran into this team with a Growth Pass team. Still almost won. But I don't think Light Screen on Blissey is very good. You murder Growth Pass, sure. Who uses Growth Pass other than me? Like, I'm like one of the few stands of Growth Pass. And that's because Light Screen Blissey is bad. Blissey as a whole is pretty bad. But Blissey alone against Growth Pass is enough. Sure, it helps against, like, helps your Belly Drum Lax to set up. But I think just, I don't know. It feels too halvesies. It feels like you just don't make progress. You don't make enough progress with this team, and you're not capable of outlasting him long enough. Last stall team. Ah, I see a Rorku. That's not a good sign. Oh, it's this team. I don't like Gengar on stall because Golem just clicks EQ once and you get a mispredict. But I think it works. I think some people can make it work. I do like offense on stall. This team as a whole, I think, does better with Missy and Toxic Toxic Cloister. I don't like the fact that the Firelex check is Gengar, but I don't hate it. Maybe Rest Gengar, like, that is an option. I don't know. Just like Hidden Power Electric Spins Cloister, like, Toxic just wins the matchup, but like use Rest Cloister. I think you use Rest Cloister, and you have something else that can Toxic Cloister. But again, this team just kind of cleaves through the lower ladder because it has a Rorku. Rorku is amazing low ladder because it's super good at being anti-cheese. Just don't get it slept. That's a sample team review. Holy cow. All of these are inherently viable. I think some are better than others.